so gorgeous ones. There's one pump of him on the back of that hand, and I'll compare those two so you can see two rubber arms as opposed to one. Buy one, get one free. Who wants my rubber arms, eh? Dime qué es lo que esperas. Dime qué quieres ver. Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's tutorial we'll be looking at this, the Rimmel Lasting Radiance SPF 25 foundation. This has an anti-pollution complex, so this is a very protective formulation. I know nothing about this. This will be a blind review, so if that sounds like something you guys want to find out more about, stay tuned. Before we dive on into today's review, beautiful ones, I needed to say a huge thank you to Jenny, the foundation lady, one of my most favourite YouTubers, up there next to Susie and all of those, Lisa Eldridge and all of those beautiful people out there who just make really, really, really good quality content and make YouTube the place it is today, in my opinion. Yesterday, Jenny released a video on, I think it's 6 or 7 of her products she doesn't love anymore or something like that. And she mentioned the L'Oreal Infallible Powder Foundation, the one that I experimented with and made into a paste and so on, mixed with the primer to turn into a skin tint. So she mentioned our channel on that video, and I have spliced that into about a minute long short or something, and that's now on my channel, and I'll release that to coincide with the release of this one later on today. So huge thanks, Jenny, lots of love. It was really truly humbling and just so kind of Jenny to do that, because she's such a lovely lady. You know, she didn't have to do that. And right, okay, shall I talk about foundations rather than foundation ladies? Okay, I'll do that. So in today we'll be talking about this, the Lasting Radiance foundation from Rimmel. This is about between 10 and 15 pounds. Again, we can find it when we look at the website later on, can't we? And this is as I said before, this has got something called Urban Shield technology in. We won't be able to see the Urban Shield technology because obviously it's just sat on your skin, therefore protecting it throughout the day from pollution, smoke, free radicals and all of those harmful molecules which can basically wreak havoc on anyone's skin. This foundation also claims to have up to 24 hours hydration, so we'll be looking at that today, or for that today. And also this makeup item contains what are known as radiance pearls, something like that. From the outside, can you see there? Can you see the reflection in the bottle? It is really, really, really glowy and very, very sparkly as well. Because in the shop, I tried some on the back of my hand, and it just basically lit my whole hand up, and it's very, very sparkly as well as being glowing. We'll have a closer look at that as the review progresses. Glancing briefly at the ingredients which are on the back of the product there, in that column there, I can already see that one of the ingredients in this foundation is ascorbyl palmitate, which is a fat-soluble form of vitamin C. I won't go into how they make it now, but basically that could provide an antioxidant protection for maybe 5-6 hours, certainly not 24 hours, but that wasn't the claim, was it? No. And finally, this is in shade True Ivory, colour 102. Can you see that down there? I can't really see what I'm looking at here because obviously glasses are on top of my head as opposed to being on the bridge of my nose where they should be. And I'm not too sure how many shades they actually sell in this particular foundation. This is an arm of the lasting range from Rimmel. They do Lasting Perfection, I believe it's called, which comes with a red lid, and that's a 24-hour wearing foundation, so that stays true, colour true, and stays on your skin for up to 24 hours. This one, on the other hand, is the glowy version of that, and as I just said, I think they do about 10-15 shades. I got this from Superdrug, as I said before, 10-15 pounds. So shall I crack it open? Oh, I ought to just describe what I can see in my hand, oughtn't I? Why not? So beautiful. And he comes in a 30ml glass. Can you hear that? Glass bottle, quite a chunky bottle, I would say. Quite attractive. Not cheap looking in my opinion, or IMHO. And it comes with a bright orange tangerine sort of coloured lid with the Rimmel branding on the front, the security sticker on the side. Superdrug are very, very good for that. And then the claims at the top and the ingredients down the bottom. And this does come with a pump, which is brilliant. So, you know, for controlling exactly how much you get out of the bottle. Again, totally devoid of directions. There's not a word of direction on this one. So I don't know whether we're supposed to shake it or throw it at the wall and hope that that makes it work. But I ought to just shake it really, because if this does have those radiance pearls in, they might just sink to the bottom. Again, I doubt it, but shall I shake it just to be on the safe side? Shaking it then, guys, shaking it. Colour match, I couldn't really tell you. I mean, I guess, can you see how reflective that is? It's really glowy, isn't it? And really shimmery, very, very sparkly, as I said. But I guess that it might be a little bit too yellow for these pale Celtic old choppies of mine. But okay, so what I like to do first of all is just open that one up and get a pump of him on the back of my hand. And the reason I do that is so that we can get first impressions of the product. And I think this is scented. In fact, I saw the word parfum in the old ingredients list, as long as it's not that horrible, cloying French pharmacy, French beauty store sort of scent. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like a very sweet sort of flowery, awful smell. It makes me want to... But, okay, maybe it's not fragrance. I don't know, but there it is. So I'll just blend that one in with my finger. Okay, so, yeah. It spreads really nicely, so on my rubber arm. It's so not a rubber arm, it's just my arm. Just being silly. The rubber arm joke, I think we've got a lot of mileage out of the rubber arm joke, but is it time to move on now, guys, do you reckon? Is it time for me to move away from the rubber arm and find something else to laugh about? I don't know. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Okay. So gorgeous ones. There's one pump of him on the back of that hand, and I'll compare those two so you can see two rubber arms as opposed to one. Buy one, get one free. Who wants my rubber arms, eh? Can you see the difference between that one? Yeah, I know you can, so I'll stop asking if you can see. But look how glowy that is. It's incredible, isn't it? Very, very, very sheeny and very shimmery and very just reflective, I guess. And the colour's it's just a bit too American tan for my complexion, but we'll play around with this and see what I can do with it, whether I can incorporate water into it. And it has got a very, very, very faint, not an unpleasant smell by any means. Just trying to think, it's quite a fruity sort of smell, but so yeah, so this could be a bit of a winner, and that's already a big thumbs up to me because I can't stand or I can't abide fragranced foundations. And I've looked at the ingredients. There's nothing in there which would, you know, warrant the need of a masking scent. So the addition of fragrance into this formulation is just purely aesthetic or for smell, or to make the formulation more elegant. Shall I stop waffling? Okay, waffling, stopping now. So it's basically, well, it hasn't dried, and I put that on about, oh, my clock's over there, about 5 minutes ago, and it's left a very, very slight sort of moist feeling to my hand. That will be the 24-hour moisturisation. The glow, could you see that when I first put it on, that looked really glowy, didn't it? And the glow has dampened down ever so slightly as the formulation's dried. I don't think the colour's very, very, very much are going to be a very good match for my skin. Again, I didn't have a lot to go on in the shop, but the smell, it's barely there now. Do you know what I mean? In fact, it's so weak. It's almost indistinguishable. But there is definitely a very slight sort of fruity, pleasant smell though. And now it has totally dried. So I would say about 4 or 5 minutes. I put that on a go, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Right. What I'll do now is I'll put a swatch from there down onto my neck, because that's the best way to test for foundations. Look at that skin tone there. Compare it to that area there. Quite different, aren't they? I mean, my neck's obviously very, very, very pale. My face is a little bit darker, not much though. And if you can find your foundation which can match both of those, so that area and your neck, you found your perfect shade. So basically, if it disappears, do you know what I mean? So, right, I won't shake him again, but I'll just apply a little bit more on there. And I think that this foundation will oxidise quite a lot. I don't know why. I've just got one of my feelings, which I tend to get. Very intuitive and very instinctive I am. Why have I put my hand there, guys? It's like being at school, isn't it? You're not copying my homework. Do you know what I mean? Silly. Right, okay. So, yeah. And remember to bring it all the way down onto the neck. And can you see it's a little bit too yellow for my skin's got a very, very strong pink undertone to it. So making it a cool skin tone. If it was yellowy, it would be a warm, or somewhere in between neutral, a little bit of a browny sort of greeny tone. That we call it olive. So yeah, okay. So let's have a little look at that. Wow, totally off, isn't it? Totally. Again, wasted another 15 pounds. Doesn't matter though. I haven't really, guys. Okay. All right. Well. Yeah, no, the smell, it doesn't bother me though, but I don't know why they've got it in there. It didn't need a scent to it, do you know what I mean? But now then, that's been on for about a minute now, about 60, maybe 90 seconds. And can you see the colour starting to change already? And that's how fast foundations can oxidise. And oxidation is the same process which rusts your car. and can significantly darken or even change the whole look of a foundation on the skin. Still, it doesn't look very natural, does it? Now, okay, what I'll go and do now is I will, because I need a J-cloth, because I am that clumsy, I need to have a J-cloth with me basically all the time to mop up spills and accidents, which I have. And then I'll remove, oh, hang on. It's still oxidizing, can you see that? It's incredible, isn't it? Right, get back on beaten track. So, yeah, and I'll remove that layer, and then we'll go and, should we apply some with my paddle brush? And then we could try it damp or even with a sponge, a soap sponge. Should we do that? Why not? So guys, what I just did was I went over into the window over here to look at the back of my hand and the swatch I put on my face in natural daylight. And this is actually very, very pink, quite a strong pinky, between a pink and a pinky yellowy sort of, not pure pink, although who has got pure pink skin? Certainly not me. I don't think anyone has, have they? Think about that, skin's made up of hundreds upon hundreds of patches of different skin. And that's why foundations can look quite obvious or fake, because, you know, nothing can mimic that or replicate that patchiness. And actually that's why foundations do actually work on some level, because they're trying to unite all of those little patches of skin, although they'll never be able to replicate identical skin because of the nature of the skin being patches of... Right, okay. Shall I stop waffling? Will do. Right. My bad. Right, guys, should we get some of this on my old face? Let's do that. I hope you're all okay, beautiful ones. You're having a good Saturday? Right. So, beautiful ones, there's the pump. I've put 1.5 pumps on, didn't I? So this is my dry. It's sort of very, very slightly damp, more dry than it is wet. Sorry, moustache again is trying to strangle me to death, as it does on a daily basis. Right. What I'll do is I'll just blend that in just a little bit more, because I don't want a whopping great patch of foundation where I've put that on first of all. And I'll start on my nose. Can you see that? Right, okay, start on the centre of your nose and work out. And I guess it's quite full coverage, isn't it? It's certainly not sheer. The smell's coming through quite strongly now. And the reason we start, we'll put a little bit more on, the reason we start in the centre of our faces is because that's where we get the bulk of our texture. So think about that, pores, imperfections. They tend to congregate around the centre of the face, so that's where the bulk of the foundation needs to go, and then just diffuse it out as you blend with your brush. And you could use fingers, I guess, why not? Very glowy formula, isn't it? Very, very glowy. I don't use primer when I'm testing stuff for you guys out there, and I never use primer on a daily basis, because I don't actually believe in primers. I think it's a gimmick. My skin is oily to combination, a little bit drier in the winter. I guess you could say my skin's quite normal in the winter. Let's work this into my face, shall we? It goes on really nicely, and I would say that this foundation would be ideal for normal to drier skins, not oily skin. I don't think, oily skin's already quite shiny, isn't it, and greasy for want of a better word. And this foundation is quite reflective as well, so it won't absorb oil or anything like that. So I guess this is one for drier skins, or normal to dry skins. Mature skin could use it too. Yeah, wow, it feels a little bit sticky, a little bit tacky on the skin. Although, hang on, I can feel it drying as I'm touching it, so that's pretty quick, isn't it? Just work the rest of that one in, and the more you blend, guys, the better the result will be at the end of the day. And this, I am a makeup artist now, so I can say that with authority. Showing off. No, I'm not. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but do you know what I mean? Work it into your ears as well, because that gives you a more natural look, and bring it down onto the neck as well. So some people even can bring it all the way down onto the neck and onto the décolleté or décolletage, whatever that area is called. If you're a millionaire and you can afford to coat your whole body in foundations, then feel free. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say, do you know what I mean, loads of times today like I normally mean. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys? Because I hope you know what I mean, because I never know what I mean. Generally I do, most of the time not. Is that the intro done? Possibly. Right, so I'll just clean the back of, and I'm a bit anal about having makeup on my hands, and I don't know why, but it's just one of my idiosyncrasies. Do you know what I mean? Stop saying that. I can't. So beautiful. And that's one layer of the Lasting Radiance foundation by Rimmel in shade 103 True Ivory, applied with a very, very slightly damp paddle foundation brush. My preferred method. I don't like the oval brush or the stipple brush, so this is now my my number one foundation brush. Okay, should we have a close inspection? Glasses are filthy, but okay. Yep, colour match is quite good, isn't it? Although I think isn't it highlighting my texture? I think it is, and it's certainly not hiding my, it's not bouncing the light away. And what I thought would happen was that if you think about a wrinkle, it is basically a deep furrow, isn't it? And what we're seeing is we're not seeing the wrinkle, we're seeing the shadow that the wrinkle's creating. And by having something which is light reflective, what you're doing is you're bouncing the light away from the darker shadow, basically, and trying to diffuse the look of the shadow. And that's how foundations could work or reflective foundations could work in theory, although colour match is quite good though, isn't it? Now it's on my face. I'm liking this area here and here, and that's always a tell for me. Do you know what I mean? Because this area here, I can always tell whether a foundation is going to be any good for me or not, because it gives you that very soft, sort of satiny sort of look. I'll come in for a bit of a close-up. None of that glitter though, which I saw in the shop, so I don't know what that was all about, although I'm liking that area there as well. Okay, if it wasn't for the smell, and it's nowhere near as bad as the Bourjois or the Maybelline Satin Radiance or Dream Radiance foundation, that's what it's called, isn't it? And always bear in mind, guys, that you know what I mean, that this is only £10, so it's not going to be anywhere near as high performance as a NARS foundation or a Sicily foundation or something like that. But okay. I need to share it out though now. I'll play around with it. But what I'll do is we'll see if we can build it up first of all, shall we? To see whether we can get it from a medium cover. I'd call that sheer to medium, would you? See if we can get that from a sheer to medium to a fuller coverage. Should we try that? Why not? Just giving him a little shake. That's it, yeah, that's right. Get it right. Just giving that a little shake. I might just give it another quick one. Shall I go in with 2 pumps this time? So there's 2 pumps. Just put the lid on him. Put him over there, safely out of my reach, because that will get broken or spilt, or anything could happen to that. I mean, anything goes with me. Do you know what I mean? Right. So again, and what I do is when I'm applying foundation onto a brush to go onto my face, very, very thin layers. And obviously, if you're going with a walloping great layer first, it's going to be hard to try and reverse that. Whereas if you start on thin, very, very subtle layers, you can build up and think about areas of coverage where you want. Just focus on those, because the whole idea behind foundation is not to be obvious, just to embellish and enhance what we've already got. So it's quite runny. Can you see that? And my body heat's obviously making the foundation a bit more liquidy than it would be, but right, okay. So that's all of that on there. And as I said before, what I like to do is just blend that in, just make sure my whole brush is coated with the makeup or foundation. And if any of you out there have tried this foundation, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your findings or your experiences with this one, or any other foundation for that matter. Okay, so wow, I think we're entering baked bean territory here, aren't we, guys, with the old orange affair. Although, as I've just said, do you know what I mean, in daylight it didn't, it looked quite strongly pink, but in the studio light's obviously sapping or draining all the colour from what we're looking at today, or the images which it's actually recording. I'm recording. What am I talking about? Should I shut up and just get this foundation on my face? Okay, I'll do that. Sorry, guys. Right, I think we're entering tinfoil territory as well. Let's get the remnants of that onto the brush, and then I'll just have to wipe that off in a minute, won't I? So again, in the centre parts of the face, working outwards, diffusing as you get to your hairline or the outer portions of your face. Go with a very light hand there. In fact, I don't even think you need to put foundation on the outer aspects of your face. Although, some people like to have foundation all over their face, don't they? Although I think that looks really unnatural. And that's not the point behind foundations at the end of the day. As I've already said, and I'll probably keep saying ad nauseum, the whole point behind foundation is to embellish what we already have. So, yeah. Okay, so that's 2 layers on now. And to start off with, I thought the colour looked really, really, really orangey. I mean, I thought we were entering baked bean territory there massively, although Got my brush. Although now shall I leave that just for about 5 minutes? I'll go and get myself a quick drink, and then when I come back, shall I give it 5 minutes to see whether it does oxidise, and I'll go and mend eyebrows or fix brows, because obviously now that they're slathered in the stuff now, aren't they? But right, guys, I'll go and get myself a quick cup of tea, and when I come back, this should have oxidised then. So have a look at it now. Won't look any difference in 5 minutes' time, but just for experiment's sake or what have you. Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Right, beautiful ones. This is 2 layers of the Lasting Radiance foundation in shade 103 True Ivory. I'm so sorry the picture's a bit rubbishy in here, because obviously I'm standing in my window and the natural daylight's not strong enough yet, because we are actually in autumn now. I would have my studio light here, but I've got nowhere to put it. So unless I start hammering nails into window frames and stuff like that, and I can't do that really, not in the minute, because obviously just can't. So what do you reckon? 2 layers, I've just checked in the bath, and 2 layers, it looks really, really, really fake on my skin. It is accentuating texture. So I guess if I'd gone in with a primer or something first, that may have eliminated that issue, although I doubt it. But I'll come back here just a little bit so you can inspect. Can you see the glow there? And on the skin, it just feels, sorry, it's my J-cloth. On my skin, it does feel incredibly hydrating, a little bit sticky. Again, I don't know whether going with a mattifying primer would change that, but why would you go in with a mattifying primer if you're using something which is glowy? They don't go well together, do they? Nope, they don't, guys. So, yeah. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, colour match is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I was in the shop and I had to just go by the bottle, or just by applying it on the back of my hand, on my rubber arm, which doesn't look so rubbery in daylight, does it? No, it doesn't. Still does look like a rubber arm though, doesn't it, guys? Do you know what I mean? Not funny anymore. I'm so sorry, guys. Should we move away from the rubber arm and go in a different? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, right. Yeah, no. I'm undecided about it basically at the minute. So, and what I need to do now is to go and apply it with add some water into the mix. So, I'll try soaking my brush, and we could even try with a sponge. I don't want this video to be too long though, so I better go and drag myself away and finish off. Okay, guys. Right, beautiful ones. Because I have noticed that this foundation, the Lasting Radiance foundation, does highlight texture quite badly. In fact, it just makes your skin, it makes every pore, line and wrinkle on your face stand out and scream, I'm here. So what we need to do now is to try and get rid of that. So get your brush, get a bowl of water. Again, I've never done this before, not with this particular foundation. I don't even know if it's silicone based. I think it is though, and you can tell by, you can tell by feel and texture and smell usually, although this one you can't smell a thing with, because obviously it's been fragranced within an inch of its life. So again, we'll just start with one pump this time, because I've been harping on all morning, haven't I, about how to build up foundations in small layers, although I've been walloping great big layers on my face, haven't I? So soak your brush. Can you see that is quite wet? And I haven't washed it between applications. I perhaps should have, but I don't want to have any washing up liquid into the affair. So all we'll do is we'll just pop that onto the one and mix those two together. And all we're doing here is we're trying to get rid of the texture that this foundation's given my skin. So that should be about enough now. So just start applying that onto my face. Need a little bit more, and obviously the two, because silicone is water resistant, so they won't marry up together immediately. So it takes a little bit of work, not loads though. I mean, you won't be there for hours and hours and hours, but and because it shears it right down as well, you may need a little bit more foundation on your skin. Although start with thin layers first, and you can, as I said before, do you know what I mean? You can always build up the coverage wherever you need it. So again, I'm starting in the center of my face, so that's this T-zone here, paying particular attention to the very center of my face, so my nose, between my eyebrows and basically the center portions of the face. So get some into the beard. Now that's barely there now, isn't it? So I just put my bowl over here. So beautiful. And that's one very, very small layer. Let's clean glasses. So on the skin, feels lovely. As I said before, very slightly sticky. Although I'm liking the fact it gives you that, oh, wow, look at that there and there. Do you know what I mean? The lovely glow. And it's making my skin look a little bit plumper, isn't it? A little bit smoother. And between my eyebrows, you can see the reflection it's giving, can't you? Where the light's bouncing off the illuminates, or radiance pearls as they're called, aren't they? And what I did, guys, is whilst at the time of removing the 2 layers of foundation I put on my skin, I obviously wiped it off the back of my hand using clean J cloth, and it has left almost like a glittery sort of effect. There's no pigment left on my hand at all, although there are traces of glitter, so that's what's giving the luminance. Mica or mica or something like that, I imagine, plus or minus a few other glow-giving or radiance-boosting ingredients. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that so far, although I understand now fully that we didn't put anywhere near enough on, did we? And I think my brush may have been too wet. So now I'll apply a little bit more, and I'll make sure my brush isn't quite so wet this time. So we just try and build it up, shall we? Should we do that? Let's do it. So this time, guys, I'll go in with, and I'll put 2 pumps on the back of my hand. 1, 2. Can you see those? There, put the lid on him. Again, my propensity to being very accident prone, and I've got my bowl here with the water in, although I said before, didn't I, a few seconds ago, that that's now way too wet. And I suppose in some respects it's an experiment, isn't it? And if you're doing this at home, you know, play around with it until you find your own desired ratio of water to foundation. So yeah, my brush is it's not sopping wet now, although it's certainly not dry. And let's just get some of him on the brush, shall we? And you can tell immediately that my brush isn't dry, because it's pushing the foundation away, because obviously, as I've already said, silicone and water don't mix. Let's hope that this one works a little bit better than, you know, without water. And because I've got my fan blowing on me too, this would dry pretty quickly. And 1 layer of this should be enough, shouldn't it? And I'm after an ultra natural look, because I don't wear foundation on a daily basis. In fact, I don't wear foundation at all. Obviously, I wear the odd skin tint or something for special occasions, dates and stuff like that. Although I think men wearing really, really obvious makeup is just a big, awful thing. I just don't like it at all. So, right. Just keep blending, guys. So you want that airbrush sort of look. So you've got no obvious areas of foundation which haven't been blended onto your skin. Make sure you go over every single area, paying particular attention to obviously the central parts of your face. Eyebrows are now saturated with makeup, but then they are jet black, and do you know what I mean? They show up any sort of thing which is sat on them. So again, go into your ears, bring it down onto your neck, to give you that uniform sort of perfected look. The colour, again, it's odd, isn't it? Because in some lights this foundation is spot on. In other lights it just looks really, really baked bean. Work some into the beard. Right, that should do for my second application, isn't it, with water? So wow. And the second it dries, and you have used water, you can feel a big difference in the foundation. It feels barely there now. And it almost somehow bonds with the skin a lot more than if you just use the foundation out of the bottle without adding water. So let's have an inspection. So bear in mind that my eyebrows now look ridiculous and I look like an 80-year-old man. Sign of things to come, beautiful ones. So yeah, no, I'm much more pleased with that application. Wow, it's a nice foundation, isn't it? Although again, the smell it's just ever so slightly nauseating me at the minute. Not as bad as some of the ones I have reviewed on the House of Joseph, but for £10 or £15 again, I'm not too sure, but we can always find out when we check the website, can't we, guys? Just clean off beard and stosh, and I'll see to my eyebrows in a minute. Should we talk about the foundation a little bit more first? So this foundation has that something in my eye, other than my eyeball. This foundation has the anti-pollution complex in, again, possibly a blend of vitamins, antioxidant vitamins, vitamin A, C, E, B5, so on. I don't know at the minute until we check the website. Although wow, that's really glowy, isn't it? Although it has airbrush in my skin, and by incorporating water into the mix, we have it's fused with my skin a lot more than if we hadn't. So. Yep, I'm pretty pleased with that. Again, colour match. I think the shade's 1 or 2 shades too dark for my skin. Although maybe I could get away with wearing this in the summer. Loving that area there. Coming for a little bit of a close-up. Can you see how and what's happening is the light's bouncing on my skin, and because it's hitting light reflecting pigments, that it's bouncing it straight off, therefore giving you the illusion of far more perfect skin, or much more perfect skin. And that really is the big difference between light reflecting foundations and mattifying foundations, because obviously mattifying foundations absorb light, so any light, you know, coming in and hitting a powdery foundation will just be absorbed immediately and give you a much more unnatural flat sort of look. So, and that's why that's given me that amazing glow here between my eyebrows, and on the skin, it again very slightly sticky, although not problematically sticky. I guess you could powder it down. Again, why would you want to powder something which is, you know, why would you go to all the bother of getting that glow if you're just going to powder it away? So how would you fix that one? I don't really know, to be honest with you, because I don't have dry skin. My skin's quite oily. Why did I say that? No idea. At this precise moment in time, guys, I am still undecided about this one, and that's very unlike me. I normally form my own opinions within the first 5-10 minutes, although, yeah, no, I don't know why I don't like about it. Is it the fact it is ultra glowy, although there are glowier foundations, and I know I've come across them on this channel. Let's have an inspection, shall we? I don't think it's colour match. It just might be the fact it just accentuates every single bit of texture on your face, although we have eliminated that to a certain degree by going in with, you know, by mixing water into the equation. And my skin does feel cared for now, and obviously the antioxidant complex in the foundation is better to have it on your skin than not to have it on your skin, if that makes sense. So spitting again. I don't do it on purpose, beautiful ones. It's just I've got a lot to say, and mouths need lubrication, don't they? So that's why I... Right, so beautiful ones. He's been on my face now for about half an hour, so if it would oxidize anymore, it's not going to. So this is how it would look, you know, if I was going to go on out. Coverage isn't that good because it hasn't covered those red marks. I had to change my glasses in the end to a pair which weren't pinching my nose, because they're not actually pince-nez at the end of the day, or pince-nez, is that? Yeah, pinch nose, basically French for, you know, those ones that Poirot used to wear, or no, used to wear a monocle, didn't he? Waffling. I think I know what's bothering me about this foundation is the fact that in various different lights it looks totally different. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously in studio lights now the colour match looks quite good. Apart from that, it looks a little bit yellow, a little bit tan sort of there, doesn't it? But can you see the glow it's given me, the 45-degree angle glow there? And that would diffuse light away from wrinkles and so on. And I saw some glow here as well when I smiled. Hang on. Can you see that area on the apples of my cheeks there? So it is very, very, very reflective, very glowy. Not as sparkly as I thought in the shop. Although this would be a very good foundation for dry skin. Think about that. It's reflecting light away from dry patches, flakes, so on and so forth. Mature skin, very much so. And with the antioxidant complex too, so caring for skin. The only skin I would avoid this formulation with or for is oily to combination. Spot prone skin or acneic skins, definitely not. Right, my gorgeous one. Should we look at the website, and then we ought to close really, because I don't want to keep you any longer on this beautiful, well, it's not actually beautiful, in fact it's horrible today, email. I'm sorry about that, I should have turned that off. So again, I'll take screenshots and I'll put those down here so you don't have to refer to me waffling. How many shades are there? Right, there looks like there's about 10-15 shades. Again, we can find out, can't we? So shall I read the description? Okay, I'll do that. It says, the description says, guys, get glowed up with Lasting Radiance foundation. It instantly illuminates skin, smoothing and sculpting with a healthy-looking, fresh-faced finish. I'd go along, I'd buy that. The radiance-boosting formula contains radiance pearls, enhancing your complexion with that glow, even if you've skipped your 8 hours again. This medium coverage liquid foundation even disguises pores and imperfections for a flawless skin finish. So it is a medium cover foundation. We were quite right there, weren't we, when we concluded that earlier. Dot and blend over skin for all-day hydration and a smooth, fresh base. Yeah, I'd say even using water, which would obviously dilute the hydration in the formulation, it still feels pretty, wow, gobsmacked. Right, and here are some of the benefits. Skin smoothing medium coverage foundation with added luminosity boosting pearls. Very, very luminous, very glowing. I don't like that word glowy. It's a corruption of the word glow, isn't it? So from now on in, I'm not going to use the word glow. I'm just going to say glow or glowing, because I am English and I believe that the English language is sacred. Stop waffling. Claim 2 is uses Urban Shield technology to protect skin from pollution and SPF 25. So again, this foundation is very, very caring for, get it the right way around, very caring for the skin with the sun protection factor 25, which I'll talk about in a minute, and the radiance, the anti-pollution complex, and 24-hour hydration for a healthy looking complexion. I was going to talk to you about SPF 25, obviously, because they're talking about the whole bottle being SPF 25. Put it onto your face, it dilutes it possibly by 5, maybe even 6 times. So you'd only get an SPF 5 to 10 out of this one if you use your quarter or third of a teaspoon, however much you're supposed to use of an SPF. If you're worried about sun protection, apply your own SPF before, and then this could only add to that or amplify, the existing your existing SPF value or sun protection factor, which you already have from your, the one you put on before. So, in a waffly diatribe sort of way, what I'm trying to say there is, if you want extra SPF, use extra SPF. Don't rely on the foundation, because you certainly won't get SPF 25 from something like this. He was £10.99 from Superdrug, and again, very much undecided. I mean, I don't know what to make of this stuff. I really don't know whether I like it or hate it. I love it or hate it. So I suppose I'm somewhere in between, but I'm not going to fail it just because I can't make up my mind about this. I guess it just looks quite glowy. Look at the tip of my nose there. Can you see? And I've got nothing else on my face at all. Do you know what I mean? And if you find it too glow, I guess you could powder it down, although I don't see the point in doing that. I mean, why would you go to all the effort of buying a glow-giving foundation if all you're going to do then is slap powder on it, which will only dull it and mattify and remove the glow? So, professional makeup artist's tip for the day, guys. Today, in fact, because I am now a PME, or professional makeup artist. Who knew? Well, I knew, because that's me I'm talking about. But is to use water in any shape or form, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a silicone-based foundation. I have found that some even oil-based foundations or water-based foundations, particularly silicone-based foundations, so if you use water in whatever form with a brush, a damp sponge, on the back of your hand, can transform the look of the foundation. And I think we did that today with my final. I mean, look at that there. It's just amazing, isn't it? And that wouldn't have happened. Well, it possibly would have happened, but it wouldn't have. It would have looked a lot more unnatural than if we hadn't have used water. So that's my tip for today, guys. The burning question on the tip of everyone's tongues out there is: am I going to pass this one or fail it? Big ask, their big question. Of course, I'm going to pass it. There's no reason not to. The only thing I would take marks off for is the fact it's so heavily scented. Color match, pretty spot on. Glow, it lives up to its glow-giving claims. I'm not falling in love with it, but then again, I'm not falling in hate with it. Do you know what I mean? So, I'll pass it. Definitely endorse. So the Rimmel Lasting Radiance Foundation SPF 25 with Radiance Boosting Pearls and Anti-Pollution Complex. What a mouthful, eh? This certainly comes House of Joseph endorsed. Again, if you've got dry skin, more mature skin, this foundation is for you. If you have oily skin, I guess, like I have, then just mix some water into it, and that will transform the way it looks on the skin. Although very, very oily skin or acneic skins, I would just avoid this formulation. Oxidization or oxidation is actually the word. It's not. There's no ISA, so it's oxidation, not oxidization. Oxidation-wise, it did oxidize pretty badly, didn't it? Although it's worked in our favour for today, so that's another big thumbs up from me. I certainly wouldn't call it the best foundation I've ever come across, but similarly, it's not the worst foundation I've ever come across. It's got positives and minuses to it, basically, in a nutshell. For £10.99, though, I guess you could get very, very glowy skin. Right, I better go now, beautiful ones. Oh, before I do go, I just need to say quick hello to my good friend Luann out there. Hello, Luann, how are you doing? Lovely. Thank you so much. Luann's been a rock for me recently. She really, really has. And she's got her own problems or issues to deal with. Her daughter 6 months ago gave birth to a beautiful baby girl called Rowan, who is just absolutely adorable. And I've had to move you beautiful ones back out just about 3 feet away, because when I reach 1,000 subscribers, possibly around 6 months away, or maybe even 10 years away, it may even never reach 1,000 subscribers, although we are building momentum slowly but surely. About 3 or 4 months ago, I showed you some of my artwork, didn't I? And as a thank you to all of you beautiful ones out there for your ongoing support, your love, and your kind words and comments, I have decided to give away a painting, and I said that in the tutorial, which I'll link into the description. Do you want to see what I'm going to be giving away to someone out there? Whoever wins this is the Blue Tree Swallow painting. That's him. This is hand painted by me. He's sat on a plank of wood. It's even got the mould on it. And it's basically, it's acrylic on canvas. And I might paint a background onto it, I'm not too sure. But so this will be winging its way to someone very, very soon. Well, maybe not soon, but in about, well, whenever I reach 1,000 subscribers, whenever that will be. Do you know what I mean? Possibly counting my chickens way, way, way before, you know, they've even hatched. Although I felt it was just important to come back and to let you know I hadn't forgotten about my promise. And if you fancy that painting, it is an original. There's nothing else exists like that in the world. It's been painted by that fair hand, because I'm in fact right-handed, not left-handed. Then stick around, and we could get to 1,000 subscribers a lot quicker if you beautiful ones share my videos out there. That would be amazing. Talking of sharing videos and subscribing, so on and so forth. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give this one the thumbs up. Similarly, consider subscribing so you're kept abreast of each time I release new videos. Hit the notifications button to all, blah, blah, blah. And I'll wish you all a gorgeous Saturday. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you all very, very soon.
Okay, brace yourselves. I'm nervous about this one because it is so beloved. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation in a Powder. A lot of people love using this as their foundation. Unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. It is a very finely milled powder. It's a beautiful powder just for, I think for doing touch-ups. But on my skin, this just looks very dry. It looks chalky. It just did not work for me. So not much to say about it, except you guys know that I'm a huge fan of L'Oreal foundations. I've said it over and over that I think they make some of the best foundations, period, including high-end. So I was really hoping that this one would be a winner for me, but unfortunately, it's just not.